Hi everyone. It's pretty much June already. We'll call this a June update. Tomorrow is June 1st. So this is right at the end of May. So I'm gonna just make this the June update for the 2019 Laverne Manila rootstocks. So just a quick info on these. These rootstock was planted out in 2019. The majority of grass was made in 2022. Okay, just an update. How has May been? Well, I would say the first 2 weeks of May was pretty bad. It was kind of, very misty in the morning, very lots of dew in the morning, very kind of prime for powdery mildew. Uh, After that, we still get some mist in the morning. I mean, this morning I was walking around, I just felt like it was always, I felt mist in the air. It's still happening, but at least the last week and a half, the sun's been coming out around noon or like 1, and it's been pretty warm. I would say it's been hitting like 74 over, at least in my area right here. We've been having this May gray. It's been like this all month long. Uh, Pretty much prime for powdery mildew. Got to do spraying if you're trying to get some decent fruit sets on yours. So, so here's an update. I'm gonna give this update because there's gonna be some big changes, at least with these plants. After this, I'm gonna do some major pruning. I think we're gonna be finally getting into consistently kind of getting into 60s and higher for for the nighttime temps. So I'm gonna be doing a lot of pruning on these trees. So I'm still trying to decide that balance of what am I gonna keep for fruits and what am I gonna just be pruning off, because at the end of the day I still want some fruits, but last year these plants had very little vegetative growth. So that's why this year I'm gonna be focusing on just vegetation, and it's been a pretty nice warmer year than the prior years, so I think it might be a good year for me to try to get a lot of vegetative growth on this. So this tree, for example, this one itself, I'm not really gonna keep any fruits on this one. I always liked the shape of this tree. It's one of my multi-grass trees where I grafted it, and it kind of end up looking the way I imagine it to look like. So that's why I'm gonna be kind of pruning a lot of this and not keeping the fruits on this. So just kind of like see an update on here. This one's Dolores. There's a few fruits here. Like, oops, let me just pick that one off. But I'll be pruning this off, kind of shaping a bit more. There's like too many branches here. So this one, for example, is Super Julie. Look, I got some decent sized fruits on it already, but I have a lot of Super Julie grafts, quite a bit everywhere, and I'm a little bit fortunate that I have, even if I don't get any fruits on any of this, I still have my older Atafa rootstocks, which looks like it's going to be a pretty good year on that. So this one has a lot of fruit sets and even flowers blooming. But again, I have not liked the growth on this ever since last year. I think last year kind of hindered a lot of the growth and the kind of shaping I wanted on my tree. So I'll be actually cutting all this off. Flowers, fruitlets, and everything. Same thing with all these other ones in the back. There's some flowers. I think this one's Little Gem. I'll be cutting this back. This is Sunrise, be cutting this back, and this is Sweet Tart. I'll be cutting this back too. So you'll notice that on some of the varieties, it just kind of keeps reblooming. Just keeps reblooming. It's even after the first failed bloom, it just kind of reblooms again. Even if you leave the stalks on, some varieties still rebloom after a failed one. But I noticed with sweet tart, and I'm not sure if it's just coincidence, but it's happened 2 years in a row. When the first bloom fails and I just kind of leave the bloom stalks on, it doesn't seem to rebloom, which is pretty interesting. And it's not a bad thing to have. When it doesn't rebloom, you do get a lot of more vegetative growth on those varieties versus ones that just keeps on reblooming unless it's vigorous enough to do it. But I kind of noticed that with sweet tart, that it doesn't tend to rebloom. It probably would if I break off the stalk early, but if I don't break off the stalk and just kind of leave it to fall on its own, it doesn't seem to rebloom. So just something to kind of note. Okay. Here's the next tree. This one's the largest one, but I'm gonna still be pruning a lot of stuff off. We'll see, especially some of these, like these limpy kind of growth. I haven't liked it. Again, it's that balance of like trying to save fruits that you want to eat, but knowing that you have to do some, some major pruning. So just kind of give you an update on what it's looking like so far. This is peach cobbler. Looks like it has some fruitlets. Don't know if it'll hold to the end. Here's an ice cream. Okay. This is a Valkyrie. Doubt that it's gonna make it. And next to it is this is Honeykiss. I'll probably let Honeykiss fruit, just because this branch hasn't done much, and I have a lot of seedlings of it. It's a poly embryonic variety, so I can always end up using some of those to graft. Okay. Here's the ambrosia. It's on its second bloom. It looks like it'll be doing well, but I'm still not sure if I want to cut all this back, but I think I might just leave it. So that's ambrosia. Here's Juliet, and it has this amazing fruitlet set. Who knows how much of it's gonna hold, but I do need to get some scions off of this, so I'll probably be pruning most of these fruitlets and pruning most of this branches back. Yeah, so most of these will be kind of pruned off. I think I'm gonna keep this right here to see how the fruits are. This is one variety I think I want to try to propagate more, just based on how disease resistant the variety is. Unfortunately, it is very dwarfish, very slow growing vegetatively. But look at the fruitlets on it. It's pretty amazing. Again, most of these are going off. I think I'm going to keep this branch right here, and everything else I'm going to be pruning it off. Okay. I was going to show use some dye back on this. This happened just in the last week. This was peach cobbler, and I noticed it when the stem started getting slightly wrinkled, and I was like, oh, this isn't gonna make it. I tried to spray it down with some fungicide. It just didn't help. So this whole little branch right here kind of just ended up dying back. I think the fungal issue probably began maybe somewhere around here. So that's kind of like your typical dieback that you get quite often here in California. Okay, next up, this is Pineapple Pleasure. Seems very kind of powdery mildew prone, but I have not tried this variety yet. So I am gonna let it try to hold fruit. We'll see what happens if it does. The blooms don't seem that strong. Just kind of noticed lots of the blooms just seem kind of limpy, if that makes sense. Alright, on to the next tree. I'm not covering all the varieties, just some of the varieties that have some noticeable changes. This is Super Julie. Again, more fruitlets on here. I'll be cutting this all back and try to get it to flush some vegetation. Here's Malika. Looks like it's flushing some flowers right now. So we'll see. I'm gonna let it hold. I have began grafting some different varieties on to some of my trees, and hopefully they take. So this is Malika. This right here is Sweet Tart. So Sweet Tart, the bloom's in hold, but I think I see one fruitlet right here, and hopefully this one makes it to full size. And up next, this is Angie. You can see the graft right here. Last year it gave me one pretty good full-size fruit. This thing just won't flush any vegetations, but it keeps on sending out this bloom. So this one I'll probably let it hold fruit, because I do have some other grafts of Angie, and it'd be nice to have another fruit of it. Okay, on to the next tree. This tree is probably one where I'm gonna be taking off most of the flowering branches and fruitlets. It's just like really poorly shaped due to a lot of failed grass. It's finally beginning to do a little bit better. So all of this is coming off. This right here is Little Gem. Yeah, looks like they even have fruitlets on here. All coming off. This is another Super Julie. Again, I'll be cutting all this off. And the only one I might be keeping is this variety called Carla, because I've never had the chance to taste the fruit on it yet, so would like to kind of taste it before I start propagating more of it. So this tree is gonna definitely look a lot different. Up next, this tree is already looking a lot different. So this is the variety St. Maui. You guys probably seen in the past, it was a very kind of bushy and weepy. I began removing lots of the branches on it, but I'm trying to balance out what should I keep for fruits and what should I get rid of. Trying to get lots more vertical branching on these right here. This St. Maui. I would say the two best fruits I had last year was definitely the two best California fruits I had last year was definitely St. Maui, and I would say Iman Pasan. So I really do want this to kind of do well, and I do have some other grafts of St. Maui, so that's a good thing. So I don't have to solely depend on this tree. But here's the branch. Here's the part where I'm like, should I try to keep these and save these fruits, or should I just go ahead and cut it off? I'm still kind of thinking about that. So this is St. Maui. You can see most of the branches has been removed. Trying to get some vegetative flush on here. This is Iman Pasan. Very dwarf-like, very skinny branches. So I am probably going to be pruning this one heavily back. I don't think this could hold fruits. It might be able to, but I'm going to be pruning this back. Here's Sassy Love. I'm going to just leave this as is. I have not been too impressed with the disease resistance of Sassy Love. It's just been really just disease prone. Okay, here's the next tree. I'm gonna be again cutting lots of this back, and I already began to. Here's like the fruitlet that was from a fall, like a December bloom. I'm gonna just be eating this green. Really no need to keep it. Got some flushes finally from Jinhuan Golden Queen. Some flushes from Zebda. We'll see how it looks like after some more pruning on this. Up next is let's see, I have cack on here. There was a lot of fruitlets like this, but they all ended up dropping, so unfortunately I'm not sure if I'll have any fruits on this. It's okay one way or the other. I got some nice vegetative flesh on this. You can see I'm getting kind of struck by powder mildew, even though I sprayed. Let's see what else is on here. Here's more Super Julie. This is all definitely coming off. I'm not really planning to save any of the Super Julie on here, just because I do have a lot of more Super Julie elsewhere. This is getting all pruned off. Here's the cotton candy. There's a lot of fruitlet sets, but I just kept on picking like that. I kept on doing that, trying to get the ones that came off, and they did come off. So I'm not sure on this if I'm going to be keeping any fruits. Some of these look like they would maintain and hold, but I do want some vegetative growth on this. So we'll see. Haven't completely decided what to do with it yet. Okay, here's the next tree, and this is Florgon. I'm gonna be putting all these little branches back. It's just hasn't grown the way I wanted to grow. Same thing with the gram. It hasn't grown. Here's gram. I've been kind of just trying to keep some of the branches upright, just for now. But I'm gonna end up pruning majority of all these flowers back, and the fruitlets, cutting it all off. Just kind of giving it this year some time to shape the tree this year, versus letting it fruit. So this one's right here is another Juliet. This one I will try to let it fruit. Still need to taste this. Oh, so I forgot to mention, here's Florgon, and look at this. It's still sending out what looks like blooms or mixed bloom. Very, very late already in the season. So again, I haven't really liked how the Florgon has done for me, but maybe that's just in my area, or maybe that's what I have is not even a Florgon. So we'll see. So next, this is lemon zest. Here's the fruitlets on lemon zest. More fruitlets. And more blooms also. So let's see. I am definitely letting this hold. I do want as much lemon zest fruits as I can get. But this tree will go some. This tree and a lot of the trees will go some major pruning. Well, here's a little gem, which looks pretty good. But again, this tree's gonna go through some really major pruning along with the rest of them. All right, so that is an update for the 2019 Laverne Manila rootstocks. I just wanted to provide this update before I do some major pruning, removing of blooms, and removing of fruitlets. So at least, unfortunately with this, I probably won't have as much fruits on it this year, just because I will be removing a lot of it. But I'm able to kind of do that just because I have some other trees that, has a lot of fruitlets and look like a pretty bumper crop year for some of them. So that's why I'm able to kind of do that. If these were my only trees, just like you guys, I would have a little bit harder time completely removing all the fruits. All right. Thanks for checking in, everyone.